What's up, Taiwan? I'm Tiffany Wong with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan is just 3 days away from its largest recall elections ever, an event that could shift power dynamics in the legislature. Dozens of ruling Democratic Progressive Party lawmakers took to the streets early Wednesday, searching for supporters to vote yes on the recall. Just a few blocks down, prominent figures from the main opposition Kuomintang were asking voters to oppose the recalls. 24 of their lawmakers have their positions at stake in Saturday's vote. Voter turnout plays a crucial role in the outcome of recall votes in Taiwan. At least 25% of eligible voters in a district must vote yes for the recall to succeed. For more on what the recalls mean for Taiwan's major political parties, Alan Liu breaks down what's really at stake.
Taiwan is seeing its largest recall movements in history. 31 opposition lawmakers risk losing their seats if they do not survive a recall vote this summer. The first round of votes will take place on July 26, where the fates of 24 legislators will be decided. But for the campaigners behind these recall efforts, what exactly counts as a win or a failure? Taiwan's legislature has a total of 113 seats. So a party needs at least 57 to hold a majority. Right now, the opposition coalition holds the upper hand with 62 seats. That includes the Kuomintang, or the KMT, which holds 52 seats, making it the largest single party in the legislature. The smaller Taiwan People's Party controls 8, while the 2 remaining lawmakers are independents who typically vote with the KMT caucus. Meanwhile, the ruling Democratic Progressive Party holds 51 seats, making it the second largest party in the legislature. But without a majority, it hasn't been able to advance its agenda or block any controversial bills put forward by the opposition. And that is what brought us to this point. For the DPP and anti-opposition groups, mass recalls seem to be the only viable way to break the current legislative deadlock by looking to flip control of the legislature. To do this, the DPP would need to recall at least 6 KMT lawmakers and win all their seats in the following by-elections. But it's not as simple as it seems.
For a safer threshold, we need at least 12 seats. That 12 seats is to change the current structure of the legislature, because currently 62 versus 51 seats in the legislature. So if the recall completed for 12 seats, then immediately we can change the structure of the legislature.
Under Taiwan's election laws, a by-election must be held within 3 months after a successful recall. If 6 KMT lawmakers are recalled in the first wave, the opposition alliance will still hold 56 seats, outnumbering the DPP. But if 12 are removed, the opposition drops to 50, giving the ruling party a majority, at least for the time being until the by-elections. But it's not just about numbers. An expert suggests the location of those seats could be even more crucial for the DPP.
Because some districts, they may be able to turn out their base to successfully recall, but then they won't win the by-election. So it's more about which districts they win rather than the total number. Although if they do get a large blowout number, that will send a message. So that could also help them boost turnout in a by-election.
Whether the magic number is 6 or 12, the only number that will truly matter is how many people actually turn out to vote in an election that could redefine Taiwan's political future for the next few years. Howard Chang and Ellen Liu for TaiwanPlus.
Stay tuned for more of our live coverage of the election on Saturday. Taiwan's former top trade negotiator John Deng says the government is working closely with Washington and moving in the right direction as the two countries continue their tariff negotiations.
Taiwan, from the beginning, is taking a very cooperative approach. From president until the ministers, they all make it very clear that they want to cooperate with the United States. We are not necessarily agree with some of the measures U.S. takes now, but we understand the reason behind it.
Deng was speaking at a panel on the impact of tariffs on U.S.-Taiwan ties. He says if he were still in office, his priorities would be tightening transshipment controls and expanding market access. Deng's comments come as the August 1st deadline on U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs is soon approaching. Taiwan has yet to receive a formal tariff letter. Other Asian countries have made progress with trade agreements with Washington, with Trump announcing deals with the Philippines, Indonesia, and Japan. But uncertainty over U.S. tariff policy is still affecting Wall Street, with some companies seeing steep losses in trading. John Van Trieste reports.
A warm welcome. U.S. President Donald Trump and Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. greet each other in the White House. Marcos is the first Southeast Asian leader to meet Trump since his inauguration in January. China and military cooperation are on the agenda today.
We must remember that the United States is our only treaty partner in the Philippines, and that has stood us in good stead over the years, certainly through the Second World War.
But something else has been on the minds of many world leaders these days too: getting the best tariff deal possible with a U.S. administration determined to put levies in place. Nearby Vietnam has a deal, and a framework agreement with neighboring Indonesia was announced on Tuesday. Now it's the Philippines' turn.
We're going to talk about trade today, and we're very close to finishing a trade deal, big trade deal actually. And we do a lot of business with you. It's a lot of income coming in for both groups.
It appears the talks had results. In a later social media post, Trump wrote, quote, "The Philippines is going to open market with the United States and zero tariffs. The Philippines will pay a 19% tariff. That's the same rate Indonesia has agreed to pay." And those aren't the only deals Trump's announced.
本日、私から対米投資額を1兆ドルという未だかつてない規模まで引き上げたいと、そのために共に取り組みたいということをお伝えをいたしました。
Trump's posted that Japan will open its markets to U.S. products like automobiles and rice and pay a 15% reciprocal tariff. This comes as Japanese media reports that Ishiba plans to resign by the end of August after trade talks with the U.S. are done. But some on Wall Street are a bit anxious, as there are still many important U.S. trade partners that don't have a deal yet, and the August 1st deadline to negotiate one is fast approaching. Though shares ended mixed Tuesday, carmaker GM announced it's taken $1 billion hit from tariffs to quarterly results, adding to shareholders' concerns over trade policy. And some analysts think that uncertainty is here to stay.
I think that the likelihood is that the August 1st deadline gets pushed back yet again. Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, has already announced that the August 12th deadline pertaining to China is going to be pushed back. And what that means is that we're going to be living with this uncertainty, in particular those sectors of the market where the tariffs really bite.
Analysts say trade negotiations take much longer than 90 days, meaning more market fluctuations may be on the horizon. Alex Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
U.S. President Donald Trump has said he may meet soon with Chinese President Xi Jinping, but gave no specific date.
President Xi has invited me to China, and we'll probably be doing that in the not too distant future, a little bit out, but not too distant.
Trump's remarks come after recent media reports that the two leaders could meet ahead of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Leaders Summit in South Korea in late October. It would be their first in-person meeting since Trump began his second term. Meanwhile, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has said trade talks with China will continue next week in Sweden. A new show is wowing and alarming viewers by forcing them to face a scenario many would rather avoid. Set during a Chinese war with Taiwan, Zero Day Attack paints a grim picture of the future. Our reporter Alan Liu was at the premiere.
After months of waiting, we're finally here at a Taipei cinema for the premiere of Zero Day Attack, a show that imagined what could happen if China were to invade Taiwan. The story imagines a scenario where China blockades Taiwan during a presidential transition. The situation quickly spirals, triggering an economic meltdown and prompting the US and Japan to raise their military alert levels. It's a scenario that Robert Cao, one of the show's financial backers, thinks Taiwanese people need to consider.
所以我们其实这个电影也希望说增加大家心理上的防卫韧性，就是你不慌乱然后你知道怎么办。其实以今天的情况，中共要伤害我们其实不容易。
Using Japanese and Taiwanese actors, the series explores a hot-button issue in Taiwan, tensions with China, and the threats of military conflicts. Its premiere just after Taiwan's largest military exercise and amid a sweeping recall campaign that could flip control of the legislature, seems time to spark public debate.
因为我本身是比较偏和平主义，所以我不太会觉得说一定要一边一国什么的。像之前马英九总统他上任的那个时候，我就觉得蛮和平的。
But even with many hoping for a peaceful resolution to cross-strait tensions, avoiding open conflicts will require cooperation across the straits. The show doesn't shy away from the fact that Chinese ships continue to cut Taiwan's undersea communication cables, and its air force keeps circling the country. On top of that, experts point to misinformation campaigns, espionage, and the use of influencers to shape the narrative. Some viewers say it shows them they may not have a choice.
是战争选择人，不是人选择战争的。当权者为了一个空泛的目的想要达成的时候，就是让他下面的几百万或几千万人，就是他们的性命其实是完全不重要的。
But no matter where viewers stand on the future of Taiwan and China, they'll get a look at one possible worst-case scenario early next month. The show will air on August 2nd, with a rare look at Taiwan's preparedness, resilience, and what it means to live under the shadow of a conflict. Joseph Wu and Ellen Liu for TaiwanPlus.
A university women's soccer coach accused of coercing students to give blood for a research project could be dismissed from her faculty role. That's after her department at the school recommended she be removed.
当然，我们有一些初步的决议了哈。不过，正如刚刚我说的，我们这边是这个比较敏感一点的议题，而且我们有3级3审的这个机制了哈，不是最终的结果哈，这边就不便说太多。
The university initially suspended Zhou Taiying for 2 years after the allegations against her came to light. But that move was criticized for being too lenient. The school says it hopes its final decision on Zhou's position will meet public expectations. In southern Taiwan, 2 people have died from bacterial infection after Typhoon Danos earlier this month. There were another 6 cases of Melioidosis, a deadly disease spread by contaminated water or soil. Taiwan has seen 27 cases total so far this year, the highest on record. Health officials say the spike is due to the large number of storms Taiwan has seen since late 2024 and warns that cases could increase if more typhoons hit. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Before we go, check out these surfers returning to Munich's famous river surfing spot. It's reopened after being closed for 2 months due to an accident. I'm Tiffany Wong. Take care and see you next time.